Hey, what's up guys? Today I'm doing a review on the TK Boxing Pro Sparring 2.0 boxing gloves. So check it out. Hey, what's up guys? Carlo here. Today I'm doing a review on the TK Boxing Pro 2.0 sparring gloves. I got mine in the blue and white colorway. 14 ounces, it is a lace-up only model. You can also get it in 16 ounces with one additional colorway, which is a maroon and black. It's made of full genuine leather on the exterior of the glove with a tricot liner on the inside of the hand compartment, and a layered foam padding over the knuckles that I'd say is medium in firmness, and the gloves are manufactured in Pakistan. Now this is going to be the second pair of TK Boxing gloves I've used and now doing a review on. I did a review a while back on their original sparring gloves, and those are pretty average, pretty mid gloves in my opinion. I wasn't really impressed with those. Especially considering I feel like I see a lot of advertisement of TK Boxing on social media, so there's definitely some hype behind it. But when I did get those gloves, I was not impressed with those. And I felt like those are kind of like gloves you can find on eBay, and they just have their logo printed on them. So when I got these gloves, I really didn't know what to expect. And to be honest with you, my expectations were pretty low based off my previous experience. And I was actually pleasantly surprised with these gloves. They actually turned out to be much better than the previous iteration, to the point if they still actually sell those other gloves on their website, I would avoid those completely. I wouldn't even look at those. If you're looking at the TK sparring gloves, this would be the model to get. And obviously I'm going to tell you guys why here in this review, but to me this glove is just like 180-degree improvement over those original sparring gloves in pretty much every category, every facet, the quality, the comfort, the protection, just everything about the glove. So onto the design of the glove. For a 14-ounce glove, obviously these are designed for sparring, so if they have them only in 14 or 16, they don't have it in smaller sizes. But for a 14-ounce glove, I'd say they're medium in size, meaning that compared to another 14-ounce glove, they're not extremely large, nor are they super compact. So both the width of the glove and the height, I'd say, is medium in sizing profile. The leather on here has kind of a semi-gloss to maybe a satin finish to it. You do have the TK Boxing logo written on the back of the glove. That's vertical right there. You also have the TK Boxing patch. So it says tkboxingequipment.com, TK Boxing, designed in Los Angeles, California, down below. It is a plastic patch, but what is nice is that they put a piece of patent over that, of patent leather, if you want to call it, that covers the patch, so you don't have any exposed edges. And it's really important, especially if you're designing this to be a sparring glove, that you don't have any of that. So you do have the patch, but it is completely covered. So there's nowhere on the back of this wrist support that you have any type of sharp edges, anything that's going to do any kind of damage to your sparring partner if you were to hit them with this portion of the glove. Now, I would still probably tape this over just to keep everything safe, but again, no sharp edges, which is great to see. You do have the weight tag at the very bottom, says 14 right there, white piping, and I'd say the back of the wrist support, you're looking at about maybe 2 inches total. One thing about this glove that I really like, and I feel like they put a lot of emphasis on, is the wrist support. And you can definitely feel it. They put both a softer foam that lines up against your hand on the inside. That's very plush feeling, but the exterior foam, the outer foam, is a definitely a more dense, like EVA style foam, both on the back and on the inside of the wrist. So there's definitely an emphasis, in my opinion, that they put on wrist support with this glove, which is great, especially for a sparring glove, because when you're sparring, when you're landing punches, a lot of times you're landing in awkward angles, or if you're trying to place a punch a certain way, like going to the body, you're trying to go to the liver with your left hook, and you kind of come off and it comes in at a wrong angle. Sometimes you might hit their hip, or a bone in their body, and it kind of tweaks your hand in the wrong direction. But yeah, so you have that wrist support, which again, I feel like they put a lot of emphasis on. You do have that smooth tricot liner on the inside. I know for you guys asking, I do have a tattoo. My kids decided to put a temporary tattoo on my hand. Not to get too far off topic. Think of some kind of like ladybug with a flower or something like that. Anyhow, if you have kids, you know what I'm talking about. Anyhow, inside of the tricot liner on the inside of the hand compartment, laces are white and the laces are long. So good length of laces. They're flat with plastic tips at the end. Nothing too crazy there. So long, flat laces. You can get a good amount of revolutions around the wrist support. Coming down to the palm side, you'll notice that the split design doesn't go directly down the middle. It's offset. So you do have the blue and the white with the white thumb, but you do have that split design. It kind of reminds me, I believe it was Boxeo TM kind of did a similar offset design where the seam or the stitching down the middle where they split the colors went a little bit more offset rather than down the middle like a lot of traditional gloves, which I like. I like the fact that it does have a different look to it. And it's almost like the blue becomes the middle color between the white thumb and the white outside of the glove. So you have that. Double stitching throughout. You have ventilated holes on the inner portion of the thumb, but nothing above or below the grip bar. The grip bar is large and has a good amount of firmness. It also says in script cursive, handcrafted with honor, written right there on the grip bar. You can see the ventilated holes right there, as well as a leather attached thumb at the very tip. And you also have the split colors on the thumb, the white and the blue. So a really clean looking glove. Overall, I do like the design of it. I definitely like the wrist support that they give you. The inside of the wrist is about like an inch of padding right there. The back of the glove looks really good. So in terms of design, a really good looking glove. And the other color, the maroon and the black looks good as well. It's just really completely subjective. I mean, if you prefer blues over reds, you probably go with this one. If you like the maroon, then that's nice as well. It would be nice, to be honest with you, now that I've been using this glove, and I really enjoy using this glove, that they come out with other colorways so that you have a little bit more selection, but I'm pretty sure they'll do that down the road. Quality-wise, these gloves are really nice. And I kind of go back to the original Sparring gloves, which were pretty average. These are really, really nice. The leather on here is done very well. The stitching on the glove is done very well. When I put the gloves on the scale, these are advertised as 14 ounces. Both gloves came in at 13.8. So they were both 13.8. So glove for glove, they're exactly the same weight as each other, which is great, which tells me that before they send these gloves out to their customers, they're actually weighing them, and then they're also making sure that the foams on the inside, everything is balanced out before they put it in the bag and box it up and ship it out to whoever it goes to. So that's good to see that both gloves are on point with weight, and they're almost at 14 ounces. So slightly underweight, but not by much. But you can see that the stitching is done very well throughout the entire glove. Inside liner, no exposed foam, looks good. You do have that tag on the inside where it shows it's manufactured. Your standard warning label that you get tells you if you partake in the sport of boxing or any other combat sport that the inherent risk is all on you. So if you get beat up and a black eye, you can't sue them for wearing their gloves. Technically, that's what they try to tell you. But anyhow, so you have that there. Stitching again, I think it was really important just again to notate, I like the fact that they did cover that patch. You know, some companies will leave that plastic patch right there, and you'll have these really sharp edges, regardless if it's for a sparring glove or just for a regular training glove. I hate when they do that, so it's always good to see that they cover that up. But yeah, thumb stitching looks good. Palm side stitching is clean. The thumb meets the index finger. It's done very well. You know, you don't have any bubbling that you see. Sometimes you get those little dimples with injected molded foam. Nothing there. The glove is extremely well balanced. Probably one of the best balanced gloves in terms of weight distribution. I think the fact that you always have the padding towards the front for your knuckle protection. You're looking at probably about 2 inches total in thickness of the knuckle padding over the knuckles, but they give you an ample amount, again, of wrist support. So that balances the weight of the glove. So you can literally grab the back or the front, and it's a very well balanced glove. You don't really have any sag whatsoever, no flex, and it keeps everything nice and rigid through the middle section of the glove. Putting the gloves next to each other, you guys can see for yourself in terms of the height. Everything looks really good. And logo positioning looks clean. So really no like visible flaws that really raises a red flag. I mean, even the bottom cuff, if you really wanted to nitpick, you could probably say maybe the stitching down here could be a little bit cleaner, but I mean, you're really like splitting hairs at that point with really trying to nitpick that. But outside of that, I mean, again, it's hard for me to really say that there's anything here glaring. So same height, symmetry is definitely there. Side profile looks pretty much identical. Inner profile looks good as well. And thumb side, you guys can see again for yourself. Just position of the thumbs right where it needs to be at. Thickness of the glove is pretty much the same. Wrist support looks exactly the same. Piping location that separates the back of the wrist support as well as the upper portion of the hand compartment is in the correct position. And even the weight tags are pretty much in the same exact spot. So quality-wise, the gloves are on point. Comfort-wise, sliding your hand into glove, the liner feels great. I love the liner. Your standard silky tri-cut liner. You don't have excess material around your hand compartment area. So nothing on the back of your fingers. This portion of your fingers, I guess you can say like your second digits on your fingers, or down in the finger compartment, you don't have any excess like polyester, that baggy liner. So that feels really good. The wrist support feels great. So an ample amount of wrist support. Thumb positioning is perfect. And you have a nice opening right here at the bottom, the base of the thumb. So you don't have to worry about your thumb having the blood circulation cut off or your thumb going numb. And I'm sure you guys can identify with that. You guys know how that feels when you have a pair of gloves that are too tight here. Especially if you have hand wraps on, you pull your hand out of your glove at the end of your session and you'll notice that there's this big red mark on your thumb. I've had that with like my Everlast MX gloves, where it's this just gigantic red mark. Yeah, and I don't care what anybody says. They'll be like, "Oh, you just got to break it in." I'm like, dude, if my thumb has this gigantic red mark for a month of me trying to break the gloves in, then there's a design problem. That's not breaking the gloves in. That's just you guys needing to open this up a little bit more, in my opinion. But thumb feels good, pulled in nicely. You can see when I pull the hand compartment in, the tip of the thumb is pulled down just ever so slightly by the attached thumb so that this doesn't flare out. Obviously, these are designed for sparring, so that's going to be a very significant point to make sure that that doesn't flare out. But it does not pull down. I don't feel like the thumb is too shallow, which is good. Finger compartment is nice and deep. Width is perfect, so it's not too wide, nor is it too narrow. I don't feel like my fingers are kind of cramming against each other, nor do I feel like there's this huge void in the hand compartment. And that soft foam on the inside, together with that tri-cut liner, feels very comfortable. So there's really nothing in this glove where I feel that is an issue, especially the more you use the gloves. Over time, when you start using the gloves in your training, you have your wraps on. Your hands start to sweat. They swell up a little bit because you start to heat up. And that's when you start to notice the little intricacies of the gloves, right? That's typically where you start feeling like, okay, right here is where I feel a little discomfort. Okay, the finger is kind of bothering me. And the back of the thumb, just little things you notice. And with these gloves, I didn't feel any of that. So everything felt really good. About an inch of medium density foam on the back of the thumb for support and comfort. And you also have a secondary grip bar of neoprene right here at the base of the finger compartment. So you have your grip bar right here and a little bit of neoprene. I venture to say maybe the grip bar could be a little bit bigger. I mean, it's a good size already. I can feel it, and it has a good amount of density to it. Maybe a little bit bigger would have been a little bit of an improvement if I were to critique this glove with that grip bar. But everything else about the glove feels really good. Nice pre-positioned fist, and overall, very satisfied with the comfort. Protection and performance. Now, to me, this is a balanced glove. Obviously, it's designed for sparring, so it needs to be protected for both yourself and your sparring partner so that you can prolong your training and try to avoid injury ultimately. And the padding on here feels great. I mean, it's medium density. It's not a stiff padding. It's not super soft. It's very forgiving. So has a decent amount of crack, but I think this is the type of glove that even if you were to step out of the ring and finish your sparring and you go start hitting the bag with it, you get a good level of protection as well as wrist support for bag work as well. And it feels really good. It's definitely not a puncher's glove, and it's definitely not a stiff molded foam type of glove. It's right in the middle when it comes to the padding. And the protection is definitely high when it comes to the wrist support and just the overall feel of the glove. Ultimately, the protection to me is, yes, the padding, yes, the wrist support, but how well you can make a natural fist. And I feel like with this glove, you can do a pretty good job of that, making a good, nice, tight fist, which ultimately is going to allow you to punch with the correct form and technically avoid injury, hopefully. So, but yeah, I'd say this is a very well-balanced glove for what it is. Cost-wise, these gloves are $160 on their website. I definitely think it's worth that price. I think they're fairly priced for what they are, all things considered. You know, like usually when I do these videos and I talk about pricing, I usually like to kind of compare it to what else is out there, because that's really how you come up with the idea of like, okay, is this really worth the value compared to what's out in the market now, right? Yeah, you can say like, oh yeah, these $300 gloves are good, but they feel great, but what justifies that pricing, right? So you kind of have to benchmark it with other gloves out there at this point. And at $160, I think it's a fair ask for this glove. Very nice quality, full genuine leather. I love the padding, the comfort's great, good thumb position. Didn't feel any discomfort with the glove. Really good wrist support. So I feel like when they made this glove, whatever direction they decided to tell the manufacturer to go, I think they did really good with their input, saying, hey, okay, make the wrist better, you know, make the thumb more comfortable, padding is a little bit more balanced, and definitely a big jump over their previous glove, which they still sell, and is more affordable, of course. But at $160, I definitely think it's a fair ask, and definitely one of the best gloves under $200 in my opinion. Definitely one of the better sub $200 gloves that you can get out there based on all the criteria that we just went over. So if you guys have any questions or comments, you guys know what to do. Put them down below. I'll put the link in the description box. You can find these TK Boxing Sparring Gloves 2.0. I'll see you guys later. Peace.